This news update is brought to you by
This is the 7 a.m. Barbados Today update for Thursday, August 7th, 2014. I'm Dawn Paris. Good morning. We begin with confirmation that 20 more workers from the Barbados Tourism Authority are now on the breadline. That brings the total number of job losses to as much as 40, and the BTA restructuring is now complete. Director of Cruise Services Ryan Blackett was among the 20 who parted ways with the BTA last week in the last round of cuts. Chairman Adrian Elcock tells Barbados Today some of those workers were sent home while others opted for voluntary separation packages. The remaining staff at both the Bridgetown and North American offices have until today to reply to formal offers of employment at two new entities, the Barbados Tourism Product Authority and the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., which will take over the operations and mandate of the BTA.
There are processes that we went through, and some persons were successful in their interview process. Some people were not. Others have voluntarily agreed that they were not going to continue into the new model of the organization. And in all of the incarnations, we have carefully considered our way forward. In cruise, for example, we have looked at our strategy for cruise, and we've determined that we need to look at our posture there from a more strategic point of view, and you will be having another executive recruitment coming out shortly, as early as this weekend, for a number of positions for the new BTMI, of which the new head of cruise will be one of those positions.
Elcock says a new CEO for the Tourism Marketing Inc. has been identified and should be in place by October. Petra Roach, who currently serves as interim president of the BTA, will act in the meantime. 5 deputy school principals are in line for promotions at the start of the new school year. Barbados Today has learned that the deputies will now serve as principals from September. The appointments by the Ministry of Education will see Harrison College welcoming its first ever female principal, Juanita Wade, who previously served at Queen's College. Deputy Principal of Spring Memorial, Beverly Bancroft, will replace veteran educator Matthew Farley at the Graydon Seeley Secondary School. The St. Michael's School will get Yvette Mears, who's being transferred from the Foundation School, and the 2 other appointees are Michael Boyce, who will be in charge at the Lester Vaughan School, while Dennis Brown will move to St. George Secondary after serving at the Grantley Adams Memorial School. Well, don't expect any apology from Calypsonian Ronnie, the announcer Clarke. The announcer has been heavily criticized for his biting lyrics at the Piccadilly Crop Finals, which hit hard at several other Calypsonians, particularly Adrian A.C. Clarke. But the announcer is unapologetic. He says he's being made a villain in a lyrical war that he did not start. He tells Barbados Today while his delivery was fierce, his lyrics were justified and he did not break any rules.
I was very restrained lyrically on finals night. I am a Christian. So I have no apology to make for anything that I said or anything that I did at any time of the season. Absolutely none. And I find it amusing, the type of response that a few people have either posted on Facebook or commented on in the newspaper. The journalists need to do their job and find out what happened. Those who went on Saturday night are fortunate that I restrained myself. But there's no mention of what others sang about me, for I was the punching bag for the night. That's because I dared to stick up for Eleanor. And that's because I dared to touch the golden boy. He may sing sweeter than me, but lyrically, everybody knows what my potential is.
Clarke insists that people must separate his calypso persona from Ronnie Clark, the individual. In other news, he's not out of the woods just yet, but 16-year-old Joshua Sobers Henry is happy to be alive. The teenager returned to the island yesterday afternoon after being treated for a rare blood disorder in the United States for the past 6 months. The college and parish student was sent to the National Institute of Health in Washington for stem cell treatment after his mother, Caroline Sobers Skeet, made a public appeal for financial aid to get the treatment to save his life. A much improved Henry says he's grateful for a second chance at life.
I'm glad to be back home and that's not the only people that are there for me all the time. And that's when I get back to doing what I was doing before. I feel nourished and revived and ready to get back to my daily activities, playing football and going to school, trying to be a chef.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Catch the sun power.
We go to regional news now. An assurance that the risk of the Ebola virus being imported to the Caribbean is very low. It's coming from the Trinidad-based Caribbean Public Health Agency as the virus ravages West Africa. Executive Director Dr. James Hospitalis says in the unlikely event that an infected person travels to the region, the risk of transmission to other people is also low if the appropriate prevention measures are followed. The Caribbean currently has no confirmed cases of Ebola, which spreads through contact with bodily fluids of an infected person. Meantime, the Ebola death toll in West Africa climbed to 932, with health workers calling for urgent assistance to control the spread of the deadly virus. According to the World Health Organization, 43 people died from the disease within the last 3 days alone. One hospital also had to close its doors after several of its workers were infected. And that's where we end the 7 a.m. Barbados Today update today. We'll be back again at noon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and our email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. I'm Don Paris. Have a wonderful day.
This news update is brought to you by